Newly acquired Eagles running back Rashaad Penny spoke to the media for the first time since his signing. Hear what he said and why the Birds will be back in the Super Bowl. And then there were two. Reports seem to suggest it's down to two teams for CJ Gardner-Johnson, but are we close to getting a decision? Plus, Eagles backup quarterback Gardner Minshew is leaving Philly. So what options are left for the Birds in free agency? But first, let's run it. Hey everybody, Josh Davis here, and a happy Thursday. I hope your bracket's looking better than mine, but with all the upsets already, it's pretty much a wash. Please make sure to like and subscribe. You may have seen, but Rashaad Penny spoke to the media for the first time today.
I feel like this is like a great place for me to like restart my career, and I'm just excited to be here, and I can't wait to get to work. Playing with a finalist MVP at QB and great running back room, great weapons on the receivers, and obviously, arguably, the best O-line, so I'm definitely excited to get to work. I feel really great. I know, I just feel like 17 games is really important to me. And I know in my right mind that being here, being an Eagle, great strength and training staff, great coaches, they all take good care of their players here. So, I'm excited to be here and expect big things. This is one of the best opportunities for me to show as a player and, be in a great system with a lot of great players and a running back and compete every day. So I'm excited for this opportunity.
What kind of thoughts do you have when you think about being in the backfield with Jalen?
He's a finalist MVP. He showed it all last year, and, I think about it all. It's the offensive line, the running back core, the receiving core, these guys got everything, and, I'm really excited about, what could happen here.
Did Jalen reach out to you?
Oh, yes.
What was his message for you?
He's ready to win the Super Bowl, and I'm on him with him. So I'm with him, and I know the whole team is with him too, so I'm excited for this opportunity.
That's great. I love it. And I know that's just some blurbs from the full interview. I encourage you, the link is in the description, but I encourage you to watch the entire thing. But as you can tell there, Rashaad Penny is excited. He's very excited about the refresh, the restart for his career. He views this as a different point. And obviously, yes, he's been injury prone, but he says there are 17 games. That's my goal. That's his goal. He feels like he's healthy. He's ready to start making a huge impact. And you can tell the excitement that he has playing with Jalen, with this offensive line and this team. Big things are in store. Another thing that was interesting, I saw on Twitter, but Rashaad Penny went down and shook every hand of the media, which is very unusual, and that doesn't normally happen. But I think it speaks to, again, this is a guy who is extremely excited to be in Philly, experience this culture, and that's what a lot of players on the outside looking in, you can tell they see it and they're like, that's a place that I want to be. That's a culture, that's a dynamic, and that's an experience that I want to be a part of, which is why we've seen a lot of the free agents or even the players re-signing for team-friendly deals. So thumbs up for Rashaad Penny. I think he's in for a great season. Would love to know what you guys think, though. Are you really excited about this? Are you anticipating big numbers for Rashaad? Any concerns there? Let me know in the comments below. Other news of the day, too, and we heard this a little bit earlier in the day, but Tom Pelissero had first broken, and you can see the tweet here, but the Colts agreed to terms with Gardner Minshew per source. Now, that's not super surprising because he's being reunited with Shane Steichen, and obviously the two had some chemistry there. Gardner played a couple games this year, as we remember, but QB2 was always a question. We're wondering, okay, what are the Eagles going to be doing? But now it's official that Gardner Minshew's leaving, so now you got to figure out who you're going to sign. So I wanted to take a quick look here. If you look at the free agency tracker and what's available or who's available, and so this is on Spot Track. Again, very great resource for looking at what's on the market, potential salaries, and what the positions are. So there's a lot of players that have been signed. 13 of the 37, it looks like, have been signed. And now you're getting into not really slim pickings yet, but there's not as many players. And so if you look at the list here out of the available players, well, there's Carson Wentz at the top of the list, but I don't think that's a name that we want to go back to. I don't think we want to revisit that place. So there's Matt Ryan, there's Tom Brady. I think realistically, the first name that jumps out here is Marcus Mariota. Now, I know that we've spoken about Mariota as a potential, an option there, but then the question becomes, as it always is really, what's the money? What's the dynamic there? And what are you looking at? I think that he's a little bit too pricey, but we'd have to see. Maybe there's a deal that Mariota is willing to sign up for. As we talked about, there's free agents that want to be a part of this culture. And as time goes on with all these other quarterbacks that have signed and Mariota hasn't, maybe he's in for a deal. Maybe he'll take a little bit of a pay cut and say, you know what, I'll be second string quarterback. I'd love to come play for Philly. So that would be great. I think if you could get Mariota, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Thumbs up for that. I don't know that there's a single name here. I mean, you could say maybe a Teddy Bridgewater, perhaps, Blaine Gabbert's been around. I mean, you've got some veteran experience. Yeah, you're not signing someone that you're looking to play a lot, but you do need, or hopefully would want to have some sort of veteran that if he's called upon, like Gardner was, to be able to play a couple of games, be able to be experienced enough where you can expect at least decent play from the quarterback position. So it'll be interesting to see what Nick Sirianni and the coaching staff does. A lot of times in these situations, though, as you've got a lot of players that have already been picked, it's kind of just you're at the mercy of what's here in free agency. The other option, though, would be, do you look at the draft? I know you've got 2 7th-round picks, so possibly you take a flyer on a quarterback there, but then you're asking potentially a rookie quarterback to play QB2 and potentially could have to play some games. If Jalen were to get injured or anything like that would happen, it's a lot to put on a rookie quarterback. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Should we sign a free agent quarterback, or should we just target it with maybe a 7th-round pick in the draft? Let me know what you guys think. Other news, I know we've been tracking this for quite a bit, but CJ Gardner Johnson, I know, continues to be the story. There's no breaking news officially of what's actually happening, but there were reports now that have come out that another team is drawing a lot of interest. So you may have seen, but according to this article by Brandon Lee Gouton of Bleeding Green Nation, it says Eagles news, CJ Gardner Johnson drawing interest from the Broncos. And you see in the picture here too, that's Sean Payton. And if you don't remember correctly, they obviously played on the same team with the Saints. So Sean Payton is a big advocate of Gardner Johnson. But take a look at this article. So it says here, Gardner Johnson is 5'11", 210-pound safety who's entering in his 5th year in the NFL and is only 25 years old. This past season, he was a key member of the Philadelphia Eagles defense that made it to the Super Bowl. However, he did start his career in New Orleans as a second pick by Sean Payton and is now the head coach, and Sean Payton, who is now the head coach of the Denver Broncos. We have seen how having that connection has led to many coaches and now players reunited with him in Denver. Back in late August, when the Saints traded Gardner Johnson, Sean Payton was rather critical of the trade. He said the trade was a steal and that he had no idea why the Saints traded him to Philadelphia. Gardner Johnson is a playmaking safety who also can play multiple positions, including the slot. The Broncos currently have a vacancy in their secondary with Kareem Jackson being a free agent, so there is room for Gardner Johnson in the Broncos secondary, end quote. All right, that's I could see that, and like the article mentions, a lot of times you have coaches that take their former players because they're familiar with them. We just mentioned Gardner Minshew going with Shane Steichen, Kazir White's following Jonathan Gannon. There's all sorts of players that end up going. Miles Sanders is reunited with Deuce Staley. Frank Wright has some ties and some knowings there. So you always see this in the NFL. It's kind of a copycat league, but also a very relationship driven. So if you have experience or past presence with a player, then you just go ahead and sign him. So it's not super surprising that we get this news, but it is a little bit alarming now of just saying, okay, it's basically a bidding war. It sounds like it'll be a bidding war between the Eagles and the Broncos. The good news is, as we continue to say, the longer this goes out, it seems to suggest that Howie has something up his sleeve. He's got a trick up his sleeve to say, you know what, we can figure out a way to make this work and keep him. But I know that Gardner Johnson is not exactly happy about it. So you may not have caught this. I'm not sure, but on Twitter, Gardner Johnson did tweet initially, and he said, you see it right here on your screen, but the disrespect is real. Now, if you go look that up, it's not there anymore because he deleted it. And so, as David Zangaro points out, a quickly deleted tweet from CJ Gardner Johnson in a world where nothing is ever really deleted. So, yes, obviously people are taking screenshots, and I think if you've been covering CJ Gardner Johnson at this point, you know as soon as he tweets, screenshot it because it may not be there. He may delete it. But obviously, I think this is telling because what is most likely occurring now is CJ Gardner Johnson thought there was a number he would be worth or valuable to, and now he's not getting these offers, not getting it probably from the Eagles and maybe not even from the Broncos. There was rumors of the Bengals, but it seems like that is maybe out the window now. We haven't heard too much about the Bengals anymore. So between two teams, we'll have to see how it plays out, but I think it is in favor of the Eagles with where this thing is headed. I don't know where this money's coming from. That's the big question. So we'll have to see if that ends up making sense and how he can somehow figure out a way to get very creative with the cap. But if he signs him, give him an A+. We mentioned on yesterday's show, it has to be an A+ for Howie at this point. So we'll keep you posted. I'm sure there will be more breaking news, maybe late tonight, tomorrow. We'll definitely have a show then, but please make sure to like and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Josh Davis, and this has been the Philly Special.